Hey guys, how's it going? I'm EG Magnum, and this is my, well, not as thick jug, but it is strong. And really, though, the big deal here is using the Pillar of a Cage God staff with Abysses, actually, this time, to really give it a ton of damage. And just being a jug, you have a ton of defense, so feels really good. Get a lot of endurance charges, a lot of fizz reduction. Lots of damage again from the Abysses. Not completely necessary, but if I can get away with it, I'm going to get away with it. This might actually be the only build that I would take into hardcore, though, using an Abysses. Well, not the only one, but one of the builds I would take in. As you can get a lot more health than what I've got, but if I can get more damage and get away with it, again, I'll take the damage. You can definitely do something, as I think I talked about in the items. Use the staff as a 6th link for your main skill. Just put the War Chief somewhere else to get for the buff, and then use the Helm's Heart chest piece for a huge amount of health. You could easily hit 7k health, maybe even 8k health on this build, plus Molten Shell. Reworked Molten Shell, again, I've been using it in pretty much every build, and it is just OP for how much tank you get. Right here, though, I was doing some pretty rippy maps, and in this case, I was on the phone, not paying attention, and died. Was not thick enough. But, again, that's kind of the price I paid for going a bit more damage. Later, I found out that I could just go ahead and drop the gloves, get about as much damage, if not more, because I was just using Mega Nord's Vice. And then I got just some melee damage gloves, and yeah, just had as much strength on them as possible, as much fizz and attack speed. I kind of messed up forgetting that you get leech from Blood Rage, so oops on that. But overall, you can definitely complete your resist with the gloves. As you'll see, my resist are a bit low, but the endurance charges kind of cover those, so not the biggest deal. As far as price goes for this build, it is not that expensive to get started. You can definitely get into some maps, and you can definitely push content pretty easily. I'd say 20 chaos, and you've got a pretty good set to easily push toward in-game, if not maybe do some of the in-game content. Good Abysses, fully, the least amount of physical damage taken you can get is about 40C. So that'll be probably your first big ticket item, and then getting a chest piece with enough health and stuff that everything feels good. Other than that, you can go ahead and start off by filling out items that just have strength and some health, rather than using something like Alberon's Warpath, or even the Abysses. So, I would say full cost of this build, again, I'm using the same chest piece that I've used for 3 characters, so definitely getting the value out of that. I spent 5.5x on it. In this case, it'll be a total of about 7x, 7 to 10x, somewhere around there. The belt wasn't too bad. It was about another 40C. Again, Abysses about 40C, so we'll just say 1x for those two. Rings were about 30 chaos each. Boots are cheap, 1C. And you could probably find one that actually has something like an endurance charge or something to kind of help out. So you can definitely spend some good currency to really make this even tankier and do a little bit more damage. So overall, definitely a build I would think about taking into hardcore. I might try next time. I might be making a forum post about this build as a template. So the thing is, I've used the Pillar of a Cage God before, and I've been wanting to kind of make a guide around it. So now I'm finally getting to it, now that I've been making videos. And one of the things with this is you have a big choice of skills. And also, that was weird, the beam guy that he spawned got to kill Zana, so oops. Anyway, the other skills you can use are Cyclone, Earthquake, of course Ground Slam is the one I'm using, and Sweep. Don't think I'm missing any there, but those are the ones that give flat fizz. and anything that gives flat fizz is a monster on this build. Now, Cyclone is getting a little bit nerfed next patch, but if I do take this into hardcore, I will be using Cyclone just because of how good it feels to use and get around. Earthquake probably wouldn't feel too bad. It gives a ton of flat fizz, so definitely would be a pretty good skill to try out. I might try it if I do a hardcore version of this, but again, Cyclone just feels way too good, and you're immune to stun, which I would have to look again just to check to see if I'm immune to stun with this build. Forget if it goes on the armor ascendancy point or if it's the movement one. So, oops. I guess I'll have to check that. But overall, again, this build, insanely tanky, does the damage it needs to, and can get absurd damage. I don't even have steel rings. So if you get some pretty high amounts of currency, the damage on this build can easily hit 2 to 3 million in Path of Building. But that is a pretty expensive build. Again, I don't like to do builds that are over 10x in budget. I try to stay at least under 10. That way, if somebody wants to work toward a build, they can. Anything I can get 4x and under, though, I really like those builds. And that's what this build could start out as. And you can definitely do all the content with Cyclone. I would say probably easier than trying Ground Slam or anything else. Cyclone just feels so good now, and even with the nerfs, it still should be pretty much better in all ways. So yeah, I did a Deathless Uber Elder kill, and compared to the run you will see, which wasn't Deathless, but could have been. But I did get a good run in after my, I guess, practice runs in my first kill that I got with Ground Slam. So again, overall, this kind of build template can be used in whichever skill you want that it can use. So, feels pretty good. I like it. Brings me back to being a jug and tanky. So, go ahead and hop into the item. So, what are the items for this strong jug that I'm going for? So again, Fill Cage God, the main item for the build. I guess I could have qualityed it. It wouldn't give too much flat fizz, but yeah, I mean, it's the main reason why I'm doing the build. So with how tanky Jug felt, this just felt really nice. You could sacrifice some damage, especially if you're doing, say, Cyclone. It's going to feel really good, and you're going to feel even tankier than an Abyssus and just a rare helm with, say, I mean, you might not even want to do physical damage as, but either way, some resistances and stuff, it would help out in that regard if you weren't using the Abyssus. Otherwise, again, resist are a little bit hard to cover. Astraminus, unless you can get a godly amulet that, you know, and it's going to be expensive, or you just get an awesome drop, Astraminus is going to be great. It's going to cover all the attributes, and it's going to give you the amount of attributes you need to take advantage of the belt, and I'll go ahead and go over that. Cyclopean Coil. You kind of want to try to get one with 15% increased attributes and 80 life as the explicit rolls. The thing with this belt is it makes you immune to freezing, and it also makes us immune to ignite. Shock you can cover with a flask. I believe I did so, yes, with the diamond. So there you go. You're immune to all the elemental elements. You still can be chilled, I believe. So if you want to have something for chill, I mean, there you go. If you take the ascendancy point, you could switch that around maybe if you really wanted to, but chill doesn't really affect us that much, so I don't really find it a necessary thing. As far as the rings go, I wanted to try the minus mana, so I just got as much fizz damage, as much strength, as much life, and all the resist I could get, and then just craft on the mana. Overall, these rings aren't too expensive. They're actually relatively cheap, all things considered. The rings that I have been working with, like this one, I think was only like 20 chaos, 10 chaos, somewhere around there. This one was a bit more because it had the fizz damage and the strength onto it. So I think this one was about 30. Other than that, though, again, gear is pretty cheap so far. That's like, at the beginning of the league, maybe 12 chaos. At the beginning of the league, I think those go for about 30 or 40. for the 40% one. That's a chaos. That's not even a chaos. Okay, I will say it is 6 linked. You do not need it 6 linked, and it is, well, I mean, less than a chaos otherwise. So I mean, really cheap to get started. The gloves, I actually have some really bad gloves here. As far as expense goes, they were really cheap. You could get something like this. I was silly and I forgot that Blood Rage gives you physical damage, leech this life, so I didn't need the leech on it. So really here you could just get attack speed, life, physical damage, and whatever resist you can get with as much strength as possible. I tried to annul the leech and stuff and try to add something to it, but I annulled the strength that I had on it. It did originally have like 40 some strength, I think. So, oops, luckily we can craft 30, so there you go. And for the boots, another unique, this is why this thing needs resist. Albert's Warpath, you get a ton of strength, which equals a decent bit of health, and you get it has 20% movement speed, so you're moving pretty quick. If you have like 50 plus strength boots with 30% movement speed or 35%, if you're doing Cyclone, maybe go that route. Otherwise, these are great for doing any of the other skills that you could use with this. For Flask, we got, again, I'll just start with this one. Grounding, Diamond Flask. Doesn't matter which one has what on it, but I prefer bleed immunity on the Life Flask. And I just curses rolled on the Silver Flask, so okay, cool. And then I just got grounding on the Diamond. Adrenaline, I already had some Adrenaline Quicksilver Flask, so there you go. And Lion's Roar, because tons of damage, and I mean, knockback isn't too bad. Overall, that's pretty much the items. Again, using the Sinvicta's Medal for the awesome Rampage effect. You can keep that going pretty well in maps. Not the fastest build, but fast enough to clear to, just keep running through things. And that's the fun part about Rampage. If you ever drop a ton of stuff and you want to pick it up and you don't want to have to backtrack, though, I mean, you lose your Rampage most of the time. But I mean, that's just Rampage. There's not too many builds that can keep killing things while picking a ton of stuff up. So, but Rampage is always fun. And here, as every build I've been using this with, is the same chess piece. So I made an investment for it early on, 5.5x, and then crafted aspect of the spider on it. So I mean, everything I was going to use in it, this worked, and yeah, I just went with it. So really good investment. Yeah, I mean, really, I could craft a better one probably, or lose a little bit of health, gain a lot of damage by getting like maim on it and stuff. But overall, this is good enough for me. So yeah, I've been just passing around. It's a ton of health, and I always welcome a tank, any kind of tank, because we have so much damage these days that it kind of gets a little absurd sometimes. Also, I'm tanking enough to wear an Abyssus, so why not? Oh, one last thing with the gear and stuff though. I am not actually capped with the resist, so you might actually want to do that. If you look at my Uber Elder kill that I'm going to show, it would have probably had at least one less death if I didn't do that. And then the other one was because I did the weird fall ground slam and it stunned him, and it really looked like he got off sync, and it was just awkward predicting what he was going to do next. So Shaper went a little weird when I stunned him. Yeah, probably wouldn't do that. But anyway, point being, get the resist actually sorted out. I could do that if I actually fix my gloves, so that would work. Again, if you wanted more tank in that regard too, you could go with some kind of helmet other than Abyssus, maybe get some more Chaos Res. You do get a ton of Chaos Res though from the Endurance Charges, and Endurance Charges will overcap your resist quite a bit. So that is the thing. I just leap slam into a pack and boom, I have enough Endurance Charges usually that mapping is no problem. Anyway, let's jump into the skills. So with the skills, pretty straightforward stuff here. Ancestral War Chief, Conk Effect, Ruthless, Rage, Maim. The big important one there is Maim, and Brutality. We're just going Fizz, not worrying about anything else. And Maim helps our main skill do more damage, so that's the one you want to make sure you have in if you're doing a 4-link or less. Rage is probably going to give you the most damage, second to that, and then probably Brutality if you're going to do the 4-link, and then from there I'd probably do Conk Effect and Ruthless. In your main links for the skills, I did Vol Ground Slam. I'll go over a couple of more options here in a second, but Vol Ground Slam, Multi-Strike, Rage, Fortify, Melee Fizz, and Brutality. So again, focusing on the Fizz, High Fizz, Maim, all benefit. Awesome. Again, for auras now, we'll go with Pride, Proud of Purity, taking a War Banner because we're Jug, get that awesome accuracy, and nearby allies, or nearby enemies rather, take 11% increased physical damage. So that's pretty awesome. Enlighten to get the mana reserve down enough so that you can turn on Aspect of the Spider as well, and a very low level precision. The accuracy is nice because again, Jug, but it also gives some crit chance, which is pretty welcome in this build. Other than that, that's the auras. Using this same chess piece again, so Aspect of the Spider is on it, so definitely using it. In the boots here, I have the Precision. Then I just threw in Empower because it could go up a couple more levels, but I had a Molten Shell. Plus 2 levels gives a little bit more armor. I mean, I really didn't know what I wanted to do other than the Empower. And Blood Rage. And again, with Blood Rage even, it gives it a little bit more attack speed. So, no big deal there. And then over here in the Travel skill, Leap Slam, Blood Magic, faster attacks, and then Endurance Charge on melee stun. For a Jug, we want to stack Endurance Charges. Easy way to do that. Another option you could do is Culling Strike, if you wanted to take that route. But I went with the Endurance Charge melee stun. Now, for the other skills you could do other than Ground Slam. The big one, of course, and probably the one that I would do if I was taking this into hardcore, would be Cyclone. I mean, Cyclone just feels so smooth. It's so safe to play just because of how easy it is to get around and make sure you're positioned properly. Cyclone, yeah, just feels too good. Actually, all skills should feel that good, but that's a different video. With Ground Slam though, anything that adds Flat Fizz is going to be good. So that also includes Sweep. Earthquake has a ton of Flat Fizz, so Earthquake would be a pretty fun skill to play with this. Personally, I wish they would change these skills so that they all have Flat Fizz, and then you can build around whatever you want to as you're playing. But for now, these are pretty much the only skills you can use with it to get full effect of the Flat Fizz scaling that the Pillar of the Cage God can actually do. And now with the amount of strength we can get from the tree and stuff, these numbers are pretty nice. Overall, the tooltip, just standing still, 149k. This thing does put out a ton of damage and could probably do a very effective Cyclone version and do some nice clearing on the 5-way encounter even. So yeah, skills, got a few options. You can pretty much make any of them work. So pick what you want to do and play it. But again, I've chose Ground Slam, and yeah, what the build's based on. Go ahead and hop in the tree. The passive skill tree. I guess we'll look at the Ascendancy real quick. Undeniable is huge. You gain a ton of accuracy, and because you're stacking a lot of strength, you gain even more accuracy. It is insane how much accuracy you have on this build. So yeah, this node, that's where a lot of our damage comes from. It is huge. Unbreakable, I love it. It's so much tank. It gives you such a huge amount of armor, and it gives you so much regen that can't really calculate with Path of Building from the 1.5% of total physical damage prevented from hits in the past 10 seconds is regenerated as life per second. That actually gets quite a bit when you start taking some heavy hits and actually mitigating some big numbers in physical damage. Even the little hits, since you're more effective at mitigating those, a ton of little hits actually add up over time. Unfletching for that +1 endurance charge, and then unrelenting for the super amounts of extra physical damage reduction in tank. If you weren't using the Abyssus, or if you felt like you could tank the Abyssus damage without this node, you could easily go unstoppable and then not have to worry about any of the chill effects at all. Um, Again, if you're doing Cyclone, maybe a pretty good option. Otherwise, I just stick with Unrelenting, really tanky, and if you're doing hardcore, probably Unrelenting all the way, just because it's so much defense. But yeah, pretty much the Ascendancy. Let's move on to the rest. Okay, so as far as what I chose here, I got crit, life, pretty much. Using a okay Lethal Pride Jewel, it just has Intimidate, which is a pretty good amount of damage, 20 strength, and I think that's about it. So you could definitely find a better one. Even up here, you could find a better one pretty easily. Lots of crit, getting the staff stuff, getting more staff stuff, some health, some aura stuff so that I can reserve all of that I have. I need a little dex just to get over the int so that I'm freeze immune. But other than that, came down here for the strength nodes and got as much health and stuff. Soul of Steel is huge for tank. Definitely recommend getting that. I'm pretty much any build that I am using armor or just trying to be tanky in this area of the tree, I get that. That is a huge node. Other than that, though, let's see what we got. Leveling. I pretty much went this way and came down here for some life, and I believe I stretched over to the strength early. I can't remember exactly, but again, I know I took the dex node here for some accuracy and got precision. Precision is huge for leveling now. You really don't have to stretch for resolute technique at all. You have this staff really early. I don't remember how early, but like 13? Yeah, level 13. So you have a level 13, you're good to go. Pretty much Act 2, no big deal. You went a little slow, you're already 13, and you're one-shotting everything on your way. This is a great leveling weapon as long as you got a little bit of gear that has some strength on it. It's not too bad. It'll definitely Died Bell and a few things like that will help push this. The Astra Menace alone will give you a ton of damage. Other than that, though, you don't really have to worry about accuracy again because of the precision. Come get Golem's Blood if you need more health. Pick up Soul and Steel whenever you can, just because it's a huge amount of defense. Switch over to the Constitution. But I would say probably beeline to the Strength pretty quickly. Pick up Soul and Steel. But yeah, I'll try to have a leveling tree essentially in the Path of Building. But for the most part, oh, and in the leveling process, Diamond Skin is huge. Go ahead and take that. Take this node if you have to for a little more res. Take these nodes for res. You know, finish out your resistances. Make sure they're capped off. Don't be crazy like me and not have them capped off sometimes. But yeah, overall, oh, rapid expansion. Get one of those pretty quick. Throw that in if you can. If you can't, wait till Act 5. Not the most important thing while leveling, but it definitely helps with giving some area. Thought about even trying to take it out, just to kind of show that real quick. Yeah, that's what it looks like without it. Still pretty respectable area. So you could add an extra jewel there, get some more damage, more health, whatever you need. But again, the tree's pretty simple. Get some pretty good staff damage. It didn't start feeling too crazy till I started getting all of the staff crit nodes, but I made sure to get this cluster, well specifically this one, so I could generate my endurance charges. So also when you start generating endurance charges and stuff, pick up more endurance charges. I mean, that's pretty much just about it. Other than that, we can take a little bit look at a path of building, and this one's going to be pretty simple. This build really isn't that complicated. You're just being strong. You're not really trying to go too creative, but I love this staff. I've done this build a few different times. I just like now that we got flat fizz scaling abilities. Definitely brought this staff way up in how much power it has. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop in a little path of building. Okay, looking at path of building real quick. Made a little note here, but really what I'm gonna go over is get the leveling stuff, and when you're ready, get endurance charges, and then go to the final tree. So, I mean, again, pretty straightforward. Take what you need, and it's a pretty solid build all around. As you can see here with Vol Ground Slam, that's quite a bit of damage. Go to Ground Slam. Here we go. 800k, 832k. That's pretty nice. That is Lyra, so there we go. That's better. So again, this is only a level 89 build. You can take it farther. Get a few more points pretty easily. You normally do most builds to 92 anyway, so you could get health or a couple of damage options that you could do. So go for this dual or two-handed node, something like that. Let's just throw that in, see what that does. That's 100k almost. Yeah, 80k, no, 60k. I can math. So skills, I mean, they're all just showing exactly what I had. Went over that. Items. This one's not going to have an alternate item section because really most of this stuff is cheap and this build is really easy to get going. So as long as you stack some strength, cover your resist, you're pretty much good to go. Other than that though, I did the configuration. So this is max damage once you've ramped up your rage, which is the only thing that takes any time to ramp. Going and putting it at 0, you're still at 579k, and normally I do try to do at least 400k if I'm going to try to attempt to take a build to Uber Elder. So pretty solid. Again, you can get better timeless jewels since they're going to be in next league. It's a really solid build. Cyclone, sadly, and well, I mean it's just better. It feels better, and it's got decent AoE. You're safer. You can't be stunned, so it's all around just actually a better skill for this. But if you want the flavor of Ground Slam, Sweep, Earthquake, you can do pretty much whatever you want with this build. Yeah, it's pretty fun. You get to be strong with the jug. So maybe not as thick. We don't have too many C's. Well, at least I don't, because I've got what, like 5.8k hit life. You could easily though, if you say you took the 6-link, you just put the main skill in it, you could have a Calm's Heart, probably get up to 7k life, and then you are a strong, thick jug. So yeah, I mean, you've got some options. So yeah, have fun with it. Anyway, this has been my Juggernaut of the Cage God build. It was a ton of fun finally getting to Ground Slam all the way to Uber Elder. With that, I will be showing the Uber Elder clip right here in a second. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace. Here we go. I believe. Oop. Well, there went that deathless run. I got hit by the Elder Icicle and got stunned, man. Feels pretty stunned. Okay, warm-up run. I mean, if I go through too many portals, then I might just restart it. There we go. Phase 1 and done. Whoop. Oh yeah. Oh man. Put that in the complete wrong spot. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, he's done. And he's doing the suck. He's way over there. Guess I'll just put that there. Whoop. Whoop. Ooh. Let's jump through it. There we go. Put you in about the same spot. Oof. Actually, I don't want to stun him. Uh-oh. Whoa! Whoa, what are you doing there? Oh! What? Okay, I think I desynced him? That's weird. I kind of want to look back at that. Did I just... Because I felt like he's a little out of tune. Hashtag stunning shaper problems. Okay. Well, I don't like him in the middle here. Whoa, that teleport one. Okay, so he's doing his phase. Come on, explode. Thank you. Oh, there's a propagator over there. He's doing propagator things. Oh, we'll just spawn here. That's actually kind of convenient. Whoop. Okay, he's dead, and you dead. There we go. One try and done. What do I get this time? Come on! Man. I've had really stingy loot. Still ring at least a good roll? No, it is not. That is pretty bad. Rip. But, yeah. There we go. Juggernaut. Pillar of a Cage Jug. Juggernaut of Cage God. 3 portals. Don't do the stun thing because that really gets things out of whack. Other than that, it probably would have been 2 portals. And then there was that first little stun and dead thing, so oops. Oh, wait. You know what I just realized? The stun and dead thing was because I didn't have my endurance charges up. So, if I had actually fixed my build beforehand, then yeah, could have been deathless. So, I'll take it. Pretty good run. Awesome.